Good morning, friends. This is Pastor Ginny with the Daily Word. Hope you're having a good Monday so far. I hope it looks prettier outside today than it does as I'm recording this. We are finishing up our journey together through the book of Psalms, but I hope that this remains a lifelong journey for you through this book of prayers and songs that teach us so much about ourselves, teach us so much about the God that we worship, the God that we serve. So we are ending this series where we begin it with worship, recognizing that when we come to God in worship, we come to God often in the same place again and again, often in the same ways again and again, but we recognize that we ourselves have changed as a result of our living. And so that's why we wanted to begin and end this series with worship. The psalm I want to talk about a little bit today is Psalm 27. And I think this is a great one for me to end this kind of time of reflection with these weeks of reflection with you. I love Psalm 27 because it takes little pieces of all the different types of psalms that we've talked about, all the different emotions and moods and kind of ways of communicating that are contained within them. It draws on what God has done in the past. I'm sort of lifting up and celebrating those times of God's faithfulness. It also cries out for rescue in the present and expresses confidence and trust and faith that God will continue to act in the future. But even in that celebrating of the past and confidence in God's faithfulness in the future, it's still real about the needs of the present, the pain, the suffering of the present. And I just love that this psalm, which is we would categorize as a worship psalm, I just love that it encompasses all of those different elements because that's what our worship does too. We don't have to make our worship sort of this seamless thing or this thing that we kind of have to clean up. We may be tempted to make it, just a celebratory thing or really focus in on joy only, or say it has to be one or the other. Like it either has to be this like really joyful thing, or it needs to be, like lament, and it needs to be like really, heavy and serious. Like it's either Easter Sunday or it's Ash Wednesday and Good Friday. But the reality is we live in between those two things, and we live in the mess and the muck of it, and we bring all of that to our worship of God. And so I just wanted to kind of draw out those things, draw some attention to those things in this psalm. And I haven't been reading all the way through the psalms that I've been talking about the past few weeks, but again, for this ending one, I just wanted to read through this entire psalm, pray it over us today, so that we can make it our prayer as we go forward. So this is Psalm 27. The Lord is my light and my salvation. Whom shall I fear? The Lord is the stronghold of my life. Of whom shall I be afraid? When the wicked advance against me to devour me, it is my enemies and my foes who will stumble and fall. Though an army besiege me, my heart will not fear. Though war break out against me, even then will I be confident. One thing I ask from the Lord, this only do I seek, that I may dwell in the house of the Lord all the days of my life, to gaze on the beauty of the Lord and to seek him in his temple. For in the day of trouble he will keep me safe in his dwelling. He will hide me in the shelter of his sacred tent and set me high upon a rock. Then my head will be exalted above the enemies who surround me. At his sacred tent I will sacrifice with shouts of joy. I will sing and make music to the Lord. Hear my voice when I call, Lord. Be merciful to me and answer me. My heart says of you, seek his face. Your face, Lord, I will seek. Do not hide your face from me. Do not turn your servant away in anger. You have been my helper. Do not reject me or forsake me, God my Savior. Though my father and mother forsake me, the Lord will receive me. Teach me your way, Lord. Lead me in a straight path because of my oppressors. Do not turn me over to the desire of my foes, for false witnesses rise up against me, spouting malicious accusations. You hear this, friends. I remain confident of this. I will see the goodness of the Lord in the land of the living. Wait for the Lord. Be strong and take heart and wait for the Lord.